Today's podcast is brought to you by StrongHeartAcademy.com, where no heart is no victory. We are also brought to you by BJJ To Go. If you want to build your game and learn jiu-jitsu, go to bjjtogo.com. Third thing we're brought to you by is Rat Bat. You got rats? Want to kill bats? Kill them with a rat bat. Fourth thing we're brought to you by is hot dog flavored water ingredients. If you want to add it to your smoothie, hot dog flavor ingredient. Okay, so this is our trip that we made on Memorial Weekend. We went from New River. This is us waiting for a guy. He blew out his tire. That's us in Rock Springs. We started in New River. We made it to Rock Springs and Black Canyon. This is Mayer. We stopped at the Circle K to gas up. This is the backside of Mayer on the other side of the freeway. There's a cool little river, went through riverbed. And these are just quick shots that I did. I didn't plan this very well. This is all shot with my iPhone. And I'm trying to explain everywhere we go here. I had some shots where I kind of went up. We started in New River. We went through Black Canyon City. Then we made it through, what is the backside there called? Crown King Road. Then we made it up to Mayer, then Dewey, then I think Clarksdale. Then we made it to Cottonwood, then I think Mingus, and then Mingus to Williams, I believe, and then from Williams we stayed the night, and then we worked our way up from Williams to the Grand Canyon or Grand View Lookout Tower, which is a little ways away. We went to the next to the Tucson entrance of Grand Canyon, and then we kind of went the back way to Grand View, and then went back to Williams, stayed the night. That was all in one day. The second day. And then the third day we went back. So Sunday we headed back all the way back down. So you're seeing all this video is going to be from the start, Phoenix, up to Grand Canyon, and then back down. And on the way back, I took way more video. It was a ton of fun. You're going to see some shots of Jerome. We also went through Jerome. I had so much fun, and there was 10 side-by-sides, 15 people. I was invited by my dad, and my brother went, my cousin went, and my uncle Wayne went, my brother Andrew. And my cousin had a side-by-side. My dad had a side-by-side, which I rode with my dad. And then Wayne, my uncle Wayne, had his own side-by-side. But it turned out great because he, with his extra seat, he was able to put a pump-up mattress that I was able to sleep on. We all shared a room up in Williams for the night. It's the only place we stayed. And it was pretty crazy. It was kind of epic and a lot of dirt and tons of fun. There's Perkinsville, you can see, which I didn't know existed. There was a hunter guy that went with us. He helped a lot knowing where to go. And then the two guys that led it was Alan and then his son Jay, and they're like masters at side-by-sides. And there's Lost Springs. So some of these places I'd never been to, I never heard of, and I've been in Arizona my whole life. It was really cool to be so remote out there and just enjoying the time. And they had some souped-up side-by-sides. I mean, expensive stuff. There's a Grand Canyon Visitor Center that we stopped and had lunch right next to it. This is up by Grand View, where we hung out. There's the tower. That was made in 1936, I think it was. There's a little information right there. But I had so much fun. It was a blast. It was kind of a workout. I got to drive a little bit. I did about 79 miles of the 500, and that was on the back, coming back from Grand Canyon. My dad's shoulders just bothering him. But I thought he toughed it out pretty good for being in his 60s. And even with the suspension, it still rattles you a little bit, and you're just eating dirt and dust the whole time. But it was a blast. I don't mind that kind of stuff. And the views and just being out there, Away from the city was nice. Sometimes get away from the city. In Phoenix is so congested and crazy, like a rat race. Being out there was fun. Hanging out with guys is good times too. I believe we had 5 flat tires, maybe 6. One person's belt went out on these things. They're all belt driven. But these guys were well prepared. I mean, they were ready for everything. And then right when we started, there's a dude that he was doing 80 in his brand new side-by-side Can-Am sweet thing. This thing was so cool. Four-seater Can-Am, and he was doing 80. He claims he slowed to 60, hit a rock, exploded his rim and tire, obviously. But we think he might have cracked his axle too. I believe that was the deal. Maybe his transmission also. So when we were in Williams, he made it all the way up. We replaced that. They were already ready to go. So we had to wait for him. And then the guy ended up backing into a car up there. Then when we're getting out of Williams by Bearzona, which I don't know why I didn't film any of that stuff. That was kind of cool little area. And he crashed again. This right here where he had to stop because his engine wouldn't work. This is a great place we stopped out on the backside of Grand Canyon, between Grand Canyon and Williams. I don't know where we were at. We were so remote. There was nothing out there. A lot of ranches. This is my cousin Jason. He's replacing his tire in Williams, and this is our hotel. I don't know why I didn't do a lot of Williams. Maybe because I've been there so much. And this is somewhere in the backside on the way back from Williams. I skipped about probably 45 minutes to this spot, maybe an hour to this spot. Each day we did about 10 hours of driving, and then each town we kind of stopped and filled up with gas. I think they can go about 150, 200 miles on a tank of gas, but we constantly were filling up tanks the whole way there. We're going high speeds. I got up to 160. Low speeds were going down to like 3 miles an hour. The really rocky stuff, so we don't blow up tires. Right here you can see it's pretty gnarly. I guess you can't see very good. It is hard to hold a iPhone when you're going over that stuff, so I apologize for the filming that I did. Sometimes I had it side view, sometimes I had it upright view, vertical. So I didn't plan any of this taking video. I just started doing it. I just wanted to enjoy the ride, but then I was like, this would be cool to make a podcast and kind of show my cousins and my uncle, my dad, my brother it when we're done. And I just had a good time, and hopefully I can do it in the future. I would love to have one of these things. I don't know about cost. It's a little pricey. It's like a car, an extra car. So we'll see in the future. And it was good times, man. I wish we would see a little more animals, but we were kind of in the middle of the pack. These things would be strung out over sometimes up to 2 miles. So, because there's 10 of us, and you don't want to eat all that dirt. So I think the front guy, Jay, he got to see a little bit more, but he knew where he's going, and he was a good guide, and so he would see the animals, and they'd be scared by the time they saw him, and then, by the time we were around, they were long gone. But it was a ton of fun. I took pictures and video, and I guess hope you guys enjoy the rest, and just you can scrub through here as fast as you can. These ranches, look at that ranch right there. That was by Mayer, and you had to go through a stream along that ranch to get around it because you couldn't go through it, and that was like in the middle of the path. And they had signs everywhere. They were telling us that some of these guys will come out with guns and kind of scare you off. I guess this is the reason why they live out in the middle of nowhere. They don't like people around. These crazy bridges out there too that, there's a couple bridges that they took the bottom out. They didn't want you driving over it. Like just the top supports were there. This is the backside we were hauling butt here. This is the backside of Jerome. And I was trying to take video of you could see him on the other side of the canyon, very small dot. You could see him across the canyon here, the little mini canyon. And it was just cool watching them, way ahead of us. You can kind of see the dust trail there ahead if She would look at the right corner. Now I catch them, yeah, kind of in the middle of frame along that road. Yeah, and we were spread out. Right there, we were spread out definitely around 2 miles, I'd guess. But you could see them pretty far. It was pretty. Again, if you don't like dust, this is not up your alley, but we had fun. It was good times. Yeah, I played music here. I'm going to play music on this thing. Some of these guys' rigs had cool headsets where they can talk between the side-by-sides or next to the person because it's so loud. Plus the wind is loud. I wore earplugs because it was so noisy. It was giving me a headache day one. So my uncle, he brought some earplugs, and I used some of his earplugs, and that helped me out. I don't need to hear anything. And you can still hear stuff. It's just muffled. But I think it helps save my hearing. Just come around the canyon. It's kind of cool. You cut through the mountain here in a second. And I just wanted to show the distances, like how when you're far up there, how far you can see. I don't know if I did a great job. Here you go, cutting through the red rocks up here. Some parts you could see Sedona off in the distance too, which is pretty cool. But I thought it was pretty. It's my dad driving. You can see Jerome right there. So I think technically this is Jerome. More like the backside of Jerome, which I've never taken that way. Every time I go to Jerome, I just turn around and go back, or go the other direction towards Prescott from it. I've never gone this direction. I don't even know what road this is. That's the other thing. When I tried to Google Maps, I was doing Google Drops to try to find this path, but half the time my phone was not working out in the middle of nowhere. But it was cool being out there. I liked being way out in Nowheresville. And everyone that came with us was really nice. A bunch of older guys, and they were all cool, and which is nice when you're kind of out there. You don't want to be with someone that you don't like. But I was super friendly, and they would share their food. We brought snacks for the ride because you're doing 10 hours a day. I brought so much water. That was my big fear. I was like, what if we run out of water? We get stuck out here, but that wasn't an issue. I bought a couple cases of water. We went through all of it. On the way back, I was burnt to a crisp. It was so hot. Day back was like, I think it was 100 degrees, which is not too bad, but when you're just sitting in the sun the whole time, you're just cooking. And I got burnt. My neck got burnt. I put a bandana around my neck and my face so I didn't suck in the dirt, and then I had goggles too to protect my eyes, so that was nice, and a hat. But I probably would have wore a long sleeve. My dad let me borrow a long sleeve one day. That's like the ghost town below or behind Jerome. My dad goes, it just looks like a bunch of miner junk. I'm like, yeah, pretty much, but tourists eat that stuff up. So I like Jerome. I think it's a cool little town. Little artsy town or whatever, but it's definitely that's just a bunch of minor junk. You can see the side by side down there below. I think that's my Uncle Wayne ahead of us. We followed him a lot of the way. It's one time we lost him, and that was the thing. Whenever the road forked, you'd want to stop if you didn't see the guy behind you, and you would wait until they saw you, and then you would take off. So they knew which way to go, left or right. And one time we thought he saw us, and he didn't, and we took off, and he was like miles out of the wrong direction. But good news is the guy Alan would stay in the back behind all of us, and Jay, his son, was in the front of all of us. So they were almost like babysitters, making sure we didn't get lost. And when we did, they would help us out because they had the radio systems. Super helpful. Otherwise, I mean, we would be so screwed way out in the middle of nowhere like that. You can see the water bottles on my feet in there. There's Jerome. And this is just cruising through the Jerome. I filmed the whole way. I don't know if this is the way back. I think this is the way back when I started filming. Yeah, cruising through the town. It was busy. It was Memorial Weekend, so it was pretty busy up there. This has to be on the way back. I don't know if I filmed this backwards. Or maybe I took more video on the way back. That's why it's a little longer in the back end versus the front end. Yeah, it was a ton of fun. I would do it again, and hopefully I get invited again, or I can get my own side-by-side and create other adventures with friends. They had a cool that was the other thing I was going to say. They were using iPads or like off-brand pads, and they would load maps onto them. So you didn't need Wi-Fi or you didn't need GPS. The map was loaded into it. So while you're driving, you're just following the map on the little screen in front of you. It's pretty cool. And then they just put like otter boxes on them so they don't get destroyed by rocks and dirt and dust and all that. And then these things are all wired up, so you can plug it directly into the side-by-side to charge it the whole time there. All right, well, I'm going to sign off and watch the rest and enjoy. Thanks.
Let me talk for just a second, help me feel that sense of rhythm. Find the meanings in our bearings and discover this position as a stage along the way. Another rung to the ladder, either stalling or you're climbing, and I'd rather beat the ladder. Instead of getting fatter, let the footsteps resume naturally.